Welcome to Psychic Evolution with evidential psychic medium Jamie Clark and spiritual coach and healer Maggie Clark.
And welcome back to another episode of Psychic Evolution. I'm Jamie Clark.
And I'm Maggie Clark, and this is the podcast where you discover the psychic potential within to empower yourself and manifest your psychic and mediumship gifts.
And these abilities are so natural, they're supernatural.
And today we have Viviane Chauvet back. Now, she has been on our podcast in season 3 and season 4. And we are so honored to be presenting with her in the upcoming Starseed Awakening Retreat this summer in 2022 in Phoenix, Arizona. And for those interested in still jumping in, there is a coupon code, takes $75 off at checkout with the coupon code Intergalactic, and we'll put that in the show notes for you. But moving on, so Viviane is an advanced Arcturian hybrid, and her teachings are to inspire starseeds and lightworkers to live in universal oneness as a sovereign divine essence of light. And her healing abilities are off the charts. As an Arcturian hybrid, she works with a unique healing energy that really works to encode at a DNA level to create quantum shift in the Earth's matrix grids. And for individuals, it helps align your soul to your own blueprint and heal for light body ascension. Now, this is amazing. Her website is Infinite Healing from the Stars, and her and Peter Benson, who we had on last week, are going to be at this retreat. And we really wanted to dig in. What is holographic healing? What are we going to be doing at the retreat? What kind of DNA activations? What kind of Earth's matrix grids are we going to work with? And why is it important as a starseed right now to work with that? So welcome, Viviane, to our podcast, Psychic Evolution.
Yay, super happy to be here. Thank you so much, Maggie, Jamie. Thank you for having me again. I cannot tell you the excitement I feel in my heart to co-host our very first retreat together. I've been talking about it on other show. I was on ET Talk TV about 2 weeks ago. We talked about it when I was at the New Living Expo and in the panels that we were in. This is going to be such a nourishment of the soul on combining our power together. So why is this so important right now? That's because we are shifting. The planet is moving to a momentum. This past weekend, on the weekend of Memorial here in the United States, the 27, 28, 29, we went through the timelines. I have witnessed it. I saw it. And what's coming more and more, it's going to be very important for all of us. I mean, all of you listening who also may be coming to our retreat, to really take the time to nurture your soul, understand who you are, integrate in the body, recognize where you may be stuck in those patterns so you can move forward with more grace and bringing back the joy of anticipation of what's coming in, where we are shifting into the quantum leap that is coming in. So there's so many reasons why it's important. It's because you're worth it. Right? It's about you.
Absolutely.
We're all connected. And I noticed that it is the advanced Arcturian hybrid. Can you share what exactly does that mean? And is it different than an average Arcturian hybrid?
That's a fantastic question, Jamie. So we said that I'm an advanced Arcturian hybrid. But first, I've been mentioning in the past, and the way I am here physically on the body, my template is a prototype. So it's been the result of multigenerational DNA perfection. So if you speak conscious, looking at the DNA to the bloodline on my mother's side, to bring to the point where the template will be perfect, so I can come back right at a junction. I have to come back to the planet at a perfect conjunction to match that of the organic time of ascension. So there's a lot of orchestration behind it. This is not random. Being hybrids has so many connotations, whether your mother, people will say, oh, my mother was taken on a ship. They added some DNA or they blend in something else while the fetus was in still in gestation, that's a form of hybrid. Or those who are, have soul contract with other civilization to help other groups to perfect their genetic makeup so they can reconnect what's called the God particle in themselves. That's another form of hybrids. And these hybrids usually will stay on the ship with their star families, their parents, their ancestries. And they're an entire planet looking at human beings. We talked about it, how much human beings carry so many galactic encoding in their DNA. It's a form of hybrid energy. But we have to look at that. You're looking at a civilization who are more part of the origination of the blueprint of the earth. So technically human beings are designed to live here, to evolve, to help the planet evolve as they are ascending. I'm a completely different category. I'm a category of my own, is that I am a representation of my Arcturian avatar self. There's only a speck of me here in this body. I am still very much consciously connecting to Arcturus, where my other form is, when my Arcturian self is, as an High Priestess. I'm part of the council with the Arcturian High Council, the High Priestess Council, the Andromedan, the other group that we're part of. So my physical form is truly a state of the art building to come to here and be here on the planet so long. I'm here a lot. Most hybrid don't even stay on the planet that long, depending on what gene they carry, but let alone an Arcturian. And they're so vibrationally advanced. Their body is it's so much more light. They don't have the density that Earth human beings require to have here. And of course, the gravitational pull of the planet, that's another big one to overcome, right? For many of us, including me, imagine how I feel about it every day. But we love the Earth.
Yes.
That's why we're here.
Absolutely. Now, with someone who is waking up saying, I feel like a starseed, I feel like I have connections to other extraterrestrial races, or I feel like my home is elsewhere. And here we are having this human experience. There's still a part of our DNA that wakes up when we wake up to that consciousness. Now, how does it work when we do like DNA activations to wake up that part that is waking up? How does that feel and what does it look like? What can people expect to experience with those DNA activations?
Very powerful, Maggie, because the DNA template, the human DNA template, is a complete shift. Remember, it's all about your state of consciousness and your vibrational rate. Where are you vibrating? It's always said, remember, you're like this organic, conscious walking antenna. You have the ability to reattune yourself constantly. So the more you shift in awareness, the more also your physical template is also shifting as a conduit along with the quantum field of your DNA and the DNA template itself. Now, did you know that on that note, the human DNA in its original template has always been designed to awaken in that multidimensional level, to embody the new cosmic design, the new body template design, and that's where we are embracing. How many of you ask, I'm ready to embrace my crystalline body. I want to shift my vibration. Well, guess what? The good news is that your DNA is shifting. Now, that's part of what we're going to experience in the retreat, because all of our gifts, not only we are creating a sacred, safe, fifth dimensional and above environment that we're going to maintain throughout the entire retreat. So you're bathing in those frequencies the entire time. What we're going to do, what we would like to provide with the Arcturians, is provide a DNA activation of the new human template. And I'll tell you one key element, huge key component to it, is to deactivate and remove the gene responsible for false obedience, feeling that we are a slave race. They're fearing there's a higher power than us, that fear energy that's been encoded. And that's what we call the gene of obedience that needs to shift big time.
You bring up an interesting question for me, and that is, with the heritage of, I believe you were sharing family lineage that's been acclimated, is there a potential that maybe you, in connection with your family lineage in past lives, have been activated throughout those years. And what if potentially you ever heard that I'm my own grandpa, meaning you'll graduate and then come back as a child or, whoever it is. Have any insights been shared with you as the eternal being about these human life experiences and how they activated over the years with the family lineage?
Again, it's another great question because family lineage, of course, if you look through mother energy, father energy, your ancestors, maybe a soul representation of, one of your grandfathers, great-grandfathers, or even, in past life you were the uncle, and you come back in that lineage to experience other soul energies, to clear some karma, to be able to bring different level of vibrational bond with that lineage. So will reflect in the encoding of your DNA. It will. But one thing that we need to really bring on the intergalactic level is that it's the removal of the belief system that you're bound by your genetics. It's not because you bring a shared commonality to your ancestral lineage or a family bloodline. You may bring some characteristic at the soul level that you need to understand, learn from, help also a lineage to heal. I've seen so many times in my practice where a soul reincarnate in a very specific ancestral lineage to help to heal a complete lineage, past, present, and future. So yes, they will carry certain characteristic in their DNA or at a gene level, but we also see that shifting, evolving. It feels like the moment the soul contract or the roles are shifting, those aspects also are shifting. Those attributes are shifting, if that makes sense.
Yes, and because we're shifting that consciousness right now, astrologically from the age of Pisces to Aquarius, we're in that cusp period, that shift period. We are literally leaving the old world behind. And in that healing, that potent healing for ancestry is huge. A lot of individuals and a lot of starseeds are like, okay, I'm not repeating that pattern anymore. The buck stops here and I'm going to heal what I need to heal. So that transmission and that energy doesn't go forward into the lineage. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Maggie. And I would say that if you understand, if you start talking that way and you said, I know that I need to clear whatever ancestral pattern I carry with me, chances are that you're the soul who understood that you're the one coming back to help to heal yourself, but you're also helping to free the shadow aspect of your ancestors, parents, and even it goes into children, and it's past, present, future. So it's really powerful because we are also shifting from planetary ancestry, what the original history of the earth, where the Anunnaki influence or other groups who are have been present for thousands of years, that has left also some planetary ancestral all through your history, the great stigma. There's a lot of core wound in different countries that are being healed as well through the planetary ancestry, whether it's past war, conflict, anything that has happened, the land, the country itself still vibrates. I can feel if I connect to the earth map, I can tell each country where they are and what they need to heal as planetary ancestry and to heal that. And we can see many European countries going through major shift. Completely the old structure are being dismantled so they can build a new structure for their generations to come, because that core wound that they still carry and pass on from soul to soul to soul, family to families, that needs to shift tremendously. It can no longer be sustained in that paradigm.
That brings up a question for myself, and that is the choice of coming back. There have been a few times, and one in particular, where I was doing a reading for a client, and she was fairly wealthy and giving her daughter millions and millions and millions of dollars. And she said the fact that, no, I'm investing in my next life. I'm going to be my daughter's daughter. And I thought, oh, that's brilliant. That's beautiful. And let me know how it goes. Well, about a year and a half, 2 years later, the woman died. And her daughter, shortly after, had a baby, a girl. Is there the potential to consciously direct your soul print to connect with that lifetime, basically building upon each lifetime just by you actively connecting with it?
Yes, at the same time with high consciousness. Because the potential we see here is some people misinterpreting that and says, great, I'm going to be super generous with the expectation that I'm going to be taken care of in the next life. because I'm investing in the next one. That's where we draw a healthy boundary here. It is possible to consciously connect to different aspects of you in different lifetimes, because we know past, present, future already unfold right here, right now. Can you, as it is appropriate for you? Now, what I'm getting from this, Jamie, is that it was appropriate for this woman because her next life was such in a close alignment that it was a continuation for her. So
Right.
that was perfect for that situation. Doesn't mean it can apply necessarily in that same sense to everyone. It really depends on what the soul is here to accomplish, learn. It's about the soul evolution. It's really about the soul evolution at that point.
And then when you decide, okay, here we go, I'm a soul, I'm going to figure out how to evolve, how to like really embrace starseed energy with holographic healing. We're going to be bringing this to the retreat. And I want our listeners to really understand, what does that look like? And what does it feel like? And how does it work?
I love the holographic healing because it's very much aligned. This is very much an Arcturian way of approaching healing as a transformative umbrella. So what we do is that you come to the retreat, or even you work with us. But let's talk about the retreat because we're going to be in this together in the same room. And we're holding a sacred space with each other. So what we do is that we invite my group of Arcturians, supervised by my Arcturian father. Yeah, I have about 33, 34 of them assigned permanently on my Earth mission. And what we do is that we anchor in that three-dimensional room a fifth-dimensional holographic space. It almost looks like a dome of crystalline energy, where we implement anchoring point in the room, and we're holding that sacred space. So what happens is that it gives an opportunity for everyone to experience healing, release, transformation, integration, downloads, getting deeper understanding of who they are, bringing in new soul aspect to help to support you on the next step. What is the next step of your journey? What is the next aspect of your soul purpose? While we're maintaining that holographic space, is that the Arcturians supervise it, so it's very elevated, it is safe, it is really much aligned with more fifth-dimensional energies that allow on a conscious and unconscious level to experiment to bring what is best for you and appropriate for you at that time and moving forward. So that's an aspect of, if you can feel, imagine it, or you can imagine a dome in a room and you are staying in that energy. Oftentimes people would say, I can feel it in my body. My higher self was present. I'm able to finally, what I've been working on for so long, that came out, or it triggers different form of experience. We always says it is highly experiential. It can be abstract. It can be emotional. It can be subtle. Whichever is appropriate, there's always healing and change occurring. Always.
Sometimes all of it.
Bingo.
No.
Oh.
And then if someone out there is relating to a different starseed lineage, like the Lyrans or the Syrians, is that, I mean, I understand that it's appropriate to put yourself into Arcturian holographic healing. I'd be comfortable doing that. But if people had questions like, is that right for me? Because I don't associate with the Arcturians, I associate with something else. How does that work? And how do you bridge one starseed team to another starseed team?
Absolutely. We're all interconnected. We say, I am profoundly Arcturian in my core. I'm discovering that I also have some Andromedan gene. Apparently the Andromedan chipped in some aspect of gene when they were creating my physical form. So I also feel extremely connected to the Andromedan. I have a profound love for the Lyrans, profound respect for the Syrians. So I think of me as an emissary that's really representing so many star regency, different level of star lineage. And we are who we are. The thing is, think of us Arcturians as we're the facilitators for you. We understand that you may be Pleiadians with an ancestry that's rooted in Sirius. And from Sirius, you have another ancestry rooted in Lyra. From wherever your soul has evolved from, wherever star community is, that ultimately we have all worked together, whether it's the Sirians Arcturian healing matrix, whether it's working with the universal grid with the Lyrans, is you are all welcome as above, so below. We welcome the diversity because we understand you at the soul level.
I love how they play together, right? And that is part of why you are part of the emissary for Galactic Federation. Like,
Yes.
most starseed energy plays really well together. And I
Yes.
feel like when we think about as above, so below, that's happening obviously in other parts of the galaxy and galaxies and universes. And now we're learning how to bring that community to Earth. How do we play well together? I don't even know what I would call my starseed connections. They're all over the map, and that's partly because I've had several activated recently. And learning about them and discovering what does that feel like. And I think that so many of us want direct connect. And what I've found is when we gather with a collective, when we gather in groups, the energy is more palpable and we do activate more deeply inside of us to connect to our connections, our starseed heritage, what we call our starseed heritage. It's pretty fascinating. I love this retreat. I'm going to get so excited.
It kind of brings up an interesting question for myself, and that is, I talk a lot about Dr. Masaru Emoto, who was a scientist who studied the molecular structure of water and wanted to see if thought patterns thought within that were held. And so each and every time he got the same results. It sounds like we are talking with our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters, galactic and intergalactic. And is there a potential by even just connecting with their thought patterns that it's affecting your physical body and amplifying? And is there a potential that through the right intent that they can activate your intuitive abilities even more effectively?
They can assist you in activating your or enhancing your ability. But really much every time you work with any intergalactic group, the enlightened ones, they understand that they're here to support you in the making of becoming more empowered. That the difference is that no one will activate gift for you, is we activating the gift with you. And that's the difference here. This is exactly when you work with what I call working with an intelligence at an inspiring level. That's because you're working with masters. If you look just at my core group, the Arcturians, we are millions of years old. So chances are that we're like those old masters who sit in peace and welcome the students, so to speak. And we see you already in your self-mastery. You're simply rediscovering the path to it. And we're here to assist you back on your path. So the same energy that Maggie was talking about the retreat, we're going to apply that. Is we see you already in your perfect state. And we understand that we are assisting you to return to that level. This is what we call the reascension process. Because many of us have already ascended, we have descended back into matter and lower density to help everybody else and a planet to ascend back to its perfect divine blueprint as it was always designed to be. So this is why we're very keen on, yes, we can help you activate your gift, enhancing your connections, opening your microtunnel of communication, understanding better who you are, incorporating new soul aspect for wholeness. We're here to help as catalysts of advancement with you, with the understanding that you carry the power in you to accept or not. It's really up to you. And so we're talking about going back to the connection with all the star group. Last night, I was on a Pleiadian ship. And I'm not Pleiadian. I don't feel that much connected to them. But that's aspect of me talking on a higher level. I connect with all of them. Only the enlightened ones, of course. But I was on a Pleiadian ship consciously, and I was interacting telepathically to a Pleiadian, a masculine energy. He was average tall, dressed all in white, like pants and long sleeve, what looks like a jacket, very long, almost like platinum blonde white hair. Very blended, very completely anchored in the divine masculine and feminine, even though there's a predominance of masculine expression. He's completely blended, very gentle energy. And I saw a council of 9 Arcturians on the Pleiadian ship. And they said to me, these are part of your people. You are Arcturian. And the way we pronounce the word Arcturian has a different tone as when the intergalactic talk about us, the way we said on the human language, the tone changed there. And I heard the tone last night. And one of the message, the simplicity of the message that this Pleiadian wanted me to bring forth is, at these times, everyone, you need to learn to be adaptable and flexible. It's about adaptability and flexibility that allow the higher integration. And he wanted me to make sure that I was going to consciously remember that. And that happened last night. So when I consciously reintegrate my body, I could still see the imprint of the ship, the way it looks like. I can still see the all 9 council of 9 Arcturians. I can describe the way they dressed, and I can see this Pleiadian, and they tell me you are on a Pleiadian ship. So that's just to show you that there is a partnership that is very close. There's many council. There's different aspects and branches to the galactic federations, as we call it. There's a huge partnership. There's a consensus of working together to support a planet on the verge of historical times. And these new information, we're extracting so much information on how the process works so we can help many other worlds. And to think the ripple effect that it creates, right?
It's beautiful. I just like how they all work together. It's just so beautiful. And I'm just excited for when our planet can do that as well. When we associate as a starseed, we're the ones that have to assume that responsibility to grow into that potential. And I loved how you said earlier that we are reawakening into our human potential. I've always thought that we were meant to be way more than what we've become. My mentor used to call it, we're not human beings, we're human becomings. And activating things. I believe that shapeshifting is possible. I believe that teleportation is possible within just your physical body when you have and can harness that amount of vibrational life force energy. I think this is what the human being is becoming, that species and the more that I grow into my connections, the more that I elevate my vibration, I feel like I get closer and closer and closer. And so I can't wait till this is like a normal activity for us to embrace that potential that we're becoming.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that start again, conscious choice, acceptance, surrender to the changes. It may feel uncomfortable. We understand. Like the metamorphosis change and the caterpillar moving into eventually as a butterfly. The changes in between may feel uncomfortable. It may feel like you no longer recognize yourself. Ask yourself, what aspect of myself I no longer recognize? And chances are it is that aspect that is in the midst of transformation. Just allow it. It's part of prayers, part of you asking you want more. It's part of you asking that you want to be of service. The next step, I want more. Then here's it is. And then the more it's connecting to what you're saying, Maggie, is the shift. You can feel it. You're on the verge on something bigger. And there's also a very distinct synchronization how things happen. It can be in the making. It doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. People come to me, well, we activated this about 3 months ago and I still get nothing. And I'm like, okay, let's put your lower 3-dimensional mind on the side and let's look at what's really shifting. At the same time, you need to allow other change to happen on the planet to support your transformation. That's another big synchronicity right now.
That brings up a question for myself as we were talking about the past, present, and future existing now. Have you been able to connect with future yous in order to maybe further the awareness in a spiritual way?
Absolutely, Jamie. And it's possible for everyone. Again, the state of consciousness. You have access to future aspect of you. Now, let's clear some aspect about this that has nothing to do for you to peak in advance so you can do it faster here. You still have to walk the path and experience the path, walk the walk and talk the talk. Now, you still have to go through that. At the same time, it allows you to realign yourself into, again, that's called that joy of anticipation, that joy of energy, that bliss to know that that aspect of your future self already exists now. And then simply accept that's what you see about yourself in future aspect, that where you are heading naturally and organically, just keep going. You're doing great. Allow that to be a part of your core in the now. And yes, accelerate. Accelerate not in the sense it's going to go faster for you, but accelerating that desire for you to relive in that resonance every day. And yes, I have seen an aspect of my future self on this planet, and I have most importantly connected to my Arcturian avatar self, which more and more I'm integrating aspect of that other aspect of me, my avatar, my Arcturian avatar self. I can feel physically my body has shifted, and I have accepted. At first I went like, oh, and then my husband says, I'm still going to love you even if you look like an ET. And said, okay, then I'm good, and I can morph.
I tell my husband that too.
Well, there you go. See, it's okay, honey. I'm still going to love you even though you're taller than me. I think that's good. But I can feel physically my body is shifting to represent those new soul aspects. It doesn't mean I'm going to turn translucent white or blue or violet or any colors. I'm just saying that I have observed that my body has shifted in that direction, and I have accepted. I've accepted, and I am morphing, integrating more and more with the Arcturian part of myself. I also saw my other higher self that is in another sphere of reality. It's not a dimension, it's another plane of existence. It's the other part. You have your higher self, but you have also multiple aspects of self, all the way to your oversoul. And I've seen what we call your supreme higher self. And once I've seen that part of me, it's me, I feel like I was looking at a magnificent angel of magnitude. And that being said, well, I am you. And I'm like, what? And I felt so humble because that being, or that part of me and a higher part of me knows everything there is to know, even in the little crack between the cells, and was telepathically telling me aspect of who I am now and the becoming of where things are moving. And I was so overwhelmed by this immense love that comes from another aspect of my being. It's beyond words. It's very humbling. And this is something about me. If you connect with me in person, whether you listen to interviews, whether you're taking my class or you work with us, we are consistent. This is who I am. And you're reflecting, everybody reflecting that to her heart, to who we are. And this is why we're amazing. All of us.
And, we're going to be bringing some embodiment exercises into this retreat. And for the first time ever, I'm going to teach people how I embody and how I learned how to shapeshift with the alien that I find within myself, or many of them, and really how to open up to that energy and know that it's possible to allow that energy to be a part of not just a consciousness, but also a part of your body itself, the physical vehicle. And again, our bodies is the lowest form of energy, and it's dense and it vibrates very slow, but it can hold higher frequencies and it can shift to a certain extent to embody what we find of our starseeds. It's a journey, and we can tap into our potential and our starseed heritage. And yet we're still in a human form, and we're still on Earth for a reason, and here to help implant that into the Earth's grids. I know that you're going to also help realign people to the Earth grids. What does that look like?
The Earth grids, it's etheric grids that the body template contains. So we look at the body from a holographic perspective, the human body template. We see all kinds of codes, and it holds a certain template. Also connect with the dimensional Earth grids, because it allows you to stay in connection to the planet on which you are evolving. If you are on Mars or Venus or other places, your grids will be different. So it connects you to your dimensional Earth grid, to the body, to the human body template. Those grids are shifting. Yes, we understand that your vehicle is vibrating at a lower state. Nonetheless, that too is shifting. It is no longer just soul. I'm ascending on the soul level and I'm dropping the body behind so it can be returned and buried in the ground. That's also part of an old concept. That's part of the wheel of reincarnation that we are stepping away from. There's no need to drop a body behind anymore. It's complete ascension, like the masters have reached. The body become plus luminosity body. I don't know about you guys, but I'm planning on bringing my body. I'm responsible for this form I'm bringing with me. I'm not dropping it in a cemetery. Forget it. I told my team, you're bringing everything. Yeah. So we help also in that sense to reattune the grids that is within. You also have body elementals that connects to the elementals aspect of the earth body and the way everything connects and vibrates. So we're going to look in terms of what those planetary grids are, how it connects not only to the earth grids, the celestial grids, the crystalline grids. There's also the solar grids. So there's different level. And what we do is that we're helping you simply bring yourself back into a gentle alignment within yourself that is allowing a higher vibrational transmission and also allowing you to return to a more natural, organic resonance of connection to your soul. So it's all interconnecting different pieces, if you were to call it this way. And this is very important. That's why I love about soul evolution, is that some people can be one morning driving their truck to go to work and poof, they just have a moment and they just step into their alignment. They can be brushing their teeth and then they had such a profound experience looking at the gateway of their eyes that they can finally see their being, and that's their moment of great awakening. So that's the thing, it happened at any time. It is in accordance to your own soul design, your soul blueprint, if you come to do to achieve. Sometimes it can take a lifetime, and sometimes it can happen when you're 10-year-old. It's whatever is appropriate for you, right?
Pay attention, listeners. If you want to jump into the Starseed retreat, there's a link in the show notes and it'll guide you right to it. Again, this is a 3-day retreat in Phoenix, Arizona, July 22nd. And that's a Friday evening and then all day Saturday, all day Sunday. We're gathering. Everything is on a website for you at jamieclark.net. Just go to events and classes and you will see exactly everything we have planned about the retreat. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. And thank you, Viviane, for coming back onto our podcast, sharing this beautiful energy, sharing some of what you're going to be bringing to the retreat. We appreciate you. We appreciate your Arcturian team. We give lots of thanks to all of our spiritual teams for coming together and making this happen. And many, many blessings. And also, how can they get in touch with you, Viviane?
Thank you, Maggie. So our website is infinitehealingfromthestars.com. How did I came about this name? My team said, what do we do? Infinite healing, which is huge potential. And they said, where you're from? I said, I'm from the stars. They said, there you go. Infinitehealingfromthestars.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much again. And we look forward to seeing everyone at the retreat in July.
It's going to be fun.
Wait. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Jamie and Maggie Clark with Psychic Evolution. We want to share an upcoming Starseed Awakening retreat.
We're teaming up with Infinite Healing from the Stars. That's Viviane Chauvet, an Arcturian hybrid, and Peter Benson with Tensor Energy Tools. And we're joining them for a weekend retreat in Phoenix, Arizona, July 22nd through 24th of 2022. And we're here to assist you in discovering your purpose as a starseed and how to align and activate your starseed DNA. Let the ascension begin with this multidimensional, intergalactic, and interactive journey. Included will be Arcturian holographic healing, ancestral starseed mediumship, planetary grid realignment, and exercises to embody your starseed DNA. You are cosmic celestial energy. Visit jamieclark.net to register and for more information. We look forward to gathering with like-minded starseeds.
Free your inner space astronaut and immerse yourself in your starseed heritage.
And for our podcast listeners, we do have a coupon code to take $75 off your registration at checkout. enter the coupon code INTERGALACTIC and pay attention at checkout to see what your total is, because the language of the universe is always speaking to you. If you have been enjoying this podcast, we please ask that you go to Apple Podcasts and go ahead and rate this podcast. Leave us an awesome review. We really appreciate your reviews. They mean a lot to us, and thank you so much. If you are listening to this on something other than Apple Podcasts, you can leave a review on our website. We also have a little microphone on the bottom right-hand corner of our website. If you want to ask a question and leave us a question, it will be a voicemail recorded. We'll play back your voice on this podcast and answer your questions if we can get to them all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love you guys.
Love and light, and we'll see you in our psychic evolution.